Welcome back. Hello, everybody. It's good to see you again. Last week was powerful, and I've loved the content that we put out there last week. And if you've not already, remind that person. I know there's someone who came in for the first time, and you're welcome back again. It's good to have you. It's good to have everyone else. Feel welcomed. I am looking forward to another opportunity for us to learn, for us to get educated, for us to, to do life differently. Marriage doesn't have to follow the old system. There's something new always to learn. And we started a discussion on parenting last week, and this week we are still on the same page. Before we conclude this topic, we cannot conclude this topic without understanding how to set parenting goals. It's very, very important. There's something I think Pastor had begun to talk about last week, where he said we should not discipline children as a quick fix. It's not a quick fix. So, and this thing is very critical, because when most parents are planning for their kids, most of them plan for their kids because there's an ability to raise the kids. Ability probably in terms of space in the house, financial strength. I feel I'm ready. But really the goal of disciplining the child, the big picture, is not always expected. So when the baby comes, there's the excitement of the baby bump shoot, there's the moment until the child begins to look like what you've not expected. And probably for most people, that's where they begin to realize, I need to discipline this person. And, we just now get into the moment. Let me begin from the pastors this time. And we begin to know, how do we set goals for our children in terms of discipline? How can we begin to enter into their world? And, we see, it's not like we are manipulating their future, but it's like we are shaping them to become like what we talked about last week, that let not the problem of the house become the mess of the society. So how can we begin to set parenting goals?
I think just like any institution, whenever you enter an institution, there are goals. By the time you leave, this is what we want this person to live with. And we should see parenting as an institution which we have children only for about 18 years. When you think about 18 years, we're talking about 6,457 days. And we are having 936 months. And it is not much. It's not much when you think about it that way. And I think 936 weeks and 216 months. If you think about that one now, you now start to think yourself, by the time this child leaves this place, to be independent in a world that is hostile, in a world that is not as loving as the family unit here, what are the skills? What are the qualities do I want to help him develop? And there are some few things that I just throw to us, probably because all of us were here. And one of them, I'll just mention about probably 5 of them, and then I'll just leave it for us. One of the things I would love my child to be is I want him to be confident. Confident because when you see children falling into gangs, when you see children are victims of choices and following the other children, is because they are not confident in whom they are. I want a child who also have a character, because a character is the one who helps them to make the right choices. I would like to see a child also who have conviction. And conviction, because a character without conviction is empty. Conviction based on what is right. And that's why we need to introduce the Word of God. And also, I want to see a child who is also able to empathize. Empathize and sympathize, because we are in a system where people are hostile. We need to teach them that the Jesus and the belief that we have a belief that we find that the society is aching, and we can find and we can bring a solution. I also want to find a child by the time they leave our home. I want to see a child who have these skills. And on the other hand, I also want to see this child. There's something I'm trying to bring it out in my mind. I want to see also a child who have by the time they are leaving the house, there's something I'm trying to think in my, not even confident. There's something else I wanted to see. Are they able to make the right choices? Yeah, and that will depend upon how I brought them up. How are they able to get to have some relational intelligence, that they are not just falling into any relationship. Can they be able to handle finances? All those kind of things, because when they are living with this kind of skills, it will help them by the time they leave the house. So even when we are parenting, this could be for me some of the goals I want to see my child by the time they are leaving, they have these skills. Otherwise, by then, it's not just about, and I thank God because of Christianity, but life is not about, there is also handling practical problems which we need to equip our children with. Yeah.
Wow. I think I love what Pastor has said about laying a good foundation for our children, so that when they go out there, you will know that, children are tested when they leave our house. When they're in the house, they can behave in a very nice way because you are looking at them and you're there, but you will know if you've raised your children well when they leave the house, when they're in the marketplace, when they're intermingling with mingling with the non-believers, so to say, if you come from a Christian family. And that is why we need to instill the right values with our children. And I believe time is of much essence when it comes to raising children. You have to spend enough time with your children. Somebody told me, I think I read in a book, or somebody told me that when you spell the word love to children, they take it differently. If you tell your child that I love you, they don't take it as LOVE. They take it as TIME, time. How much time have you spent with me? I remember a time I used to travel a lot, especially in 2014, when I came to Britain for the first time, and I was here for 2 years, and my family was back in Kenya. And I remember, yes, I used to travel back to Kenya after a few months, like 8-9 months difference. And one time I went back to Kenya, and I was speaking to our firstborn son. And I remember telling him, my son, I love you very much. When I said those words, he started crying. And I knew something was wrong. He was trying to think, Dad, you're saying that you love me and I don't see you. And I had left at a point when my son needed me most. And from that time, I made a decision. I will not travel again. I will never go anywhere. And I thank God for Pastor. Because when we joined Higher Heights Church, Pastor told me this one thing: James, you cannot serve in this ministry without your family here. And Pastor did whatever, and the church also did whatever they could to make sure that my family, joined me. And that is the time I started feeling comfort, and even I started becoming effective in the ministry, because I knew what was happening in the past. And thank you, pastors, my pastors, for the great blessing you have become to our family. We had spent many years with my family without serving God together. But when I came to Higher Heights, that is when, Pastor initiated that, plan of us coming together, and we are here now together serving God. So I was saying earlier that from that time I decided I will spend a lot of time with my family. The other time I found asking myself, if I left this world today, what have I done for my children? It is good for us to ask ourselves such questions. Somebody told me that we should live like someone who is terminally ill. Take charge of every second and every moment. Do whatever you're supposed to do today. Give that love. Tell those children those words that you want them to hear. Assume you will not be there tomorrow. What have you done today? So to me, I tell my sons and my daughter everything. I tell my wife whatever I want whatever I want her to hear from me today. I don't keep it until tomorrow. I remember a time that my sons, 2 boys, came to me, and my daughter was tiny there looking and listening, and asked me, Dad, what would you like God to give you as per now? What is this thing that you would be so happy if God gave it to you? And I knew that was a question of a lifetime. So I kept quiet for some time, and they were asking me, come on, Daddy, tell us, what is it? And I was thinking, and I was praying from within, asking God, what will I tell them? Because I knew whatever I'll tell them, that shall remain in their lives forever. So my small boy asked me, is it a Mercedes-Benz? They know I love Mercedes-Benz. I told them, no, not a Mercedes-Benz. That would be nice, but that wouldn't be my best. So the other big boy asked me, is it a 3-story building or a house with this and these rooms? I told them, no. And all of a sudden, I got an answer from within. I told them, do you know what? I would be one happy man, and not just me. Me and your mom would be happy parents if you lived your lives to love God and serve Him the way we have served Him from the time we were very young. And there was a sigh like, okay, we get that. And I knew that by the silence that I had created, there was a depth in their hearts where those words sank into, and they are still deep inside their hearts. And the other day, I think it was on fast, my second-born son told me, that when you be so old and you got to be with the Lord, do you know if you continue doing the work that you do? And I told him, you are saying good things, man. I think that is a good thing to say. So do you see the values that we instill in our children? They should be right. Like what Pastor was saying, let us instill the right values. Yeah, there's a statement, Pastor, you said in one of the recordings that it's not about, was it about significance and what?
Significance and success.
Yeah. Let them not build their lives on success. Let them build their lives on significance. It is very important. Thank you.
And let them know that significance is success.
Yes, it's
But
success.
is
It's
not
true.
significant.
It's true. That's true, yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, Naomi,
Yeah.
do you have anything to add?
I can add, I would like my children, when they grow up, to be responsible in the society, responsible even in their own family. There was a day we were just past, we went to pick them from school. When we were coming back, there's a charity shop just along that route. So we just say, let's just enter here. Mm-hmm. When we enter, the kids usually, there's their corner of toys and all those things. So Jewel ran to that corner, and Baraka at some point I was asking, where is Baraka? He was on the shelves of the books. He was checking the books, and I was like, okay, what is he looking for? Then he came with a book. It was about cooking. He said, Dad, I want you to buy this book for me. And we really argue, why are you buying this book? Cooking. He pursued it until we bought that book. When we went home, we asked him, why you are so passionate about this book? He said, when I grow up, when I will be having a family, I want to know how to cook for them. Wow. And I was, wow, that's a good thing. So that's just an example. I would like to raise kids who will be responsible in their lives, responsible in the society, responsible in the house of God. The kids that will take charge wherever they will be, they know that I matter. Yeah. I love what Naomi has
about that. I love what Naomi has said, that when Baraka picked that book, they purchased the book for him, because I remember when he was a little bit younger, one time we visited you, and the dad made us laugh, and he told us, this morning Baraka came to me and said to me, can you teach me how to make pancakes? And the dad said, why? Because I want to make pancakes for my family when I get a family. I think by then he was about 6. So he has a passion in cooking. It is important for parents. Don't just set goals for your kids that you want your child to be the next big architect, the next big engineer, the next big doctor. They will shock you with what interests they have and what talents they have. We have 2 sons who are very, very different. One is very, very tech. He's into the tech world. But when he was growing, the dad had told him, you become a pilot. And I told you last time, he is very similar to the dad. He doesn't have time to waste. He told the dad, that's your dream. That's not my dream. And that's come out for you. I'm done. That's your dream. That's not my dream. Now, you would think he's being rude, but he's being true to himself, because we've raised him to be confident and to know who he is. So now we have a child who has a gift. And he is gifted in acting and all that. We didn't know that Jason had that gift. But some people who talk to him in church, they would say, when he talks, he's very quiet. But when he talks, he's a cartoon, and he's very sensible, and he has his act together. And he went to a school, and he did this play, and he was featured in the local newspaper in Berkshire. And a parent who doesn't even come to our church actually gave that newspaper for us to get it. I'm looking at the newspaper. Is this Jason featured in a newspaper about acting? I didn't know he had that. The school brought that out of him. Now, today, as we speak today, the last 1 week, he's been shooting a film. He's actually on set. Wow. He leaves the house at 5-something and comes back past midnight. Now, it is a world we don't understand, but he has a talent. He has a passion. One thing he has told us is, as his parents, thank you, Dad and Mom, for supporting me. We have supported him. We have gone for auditions. We have spent money for lessons, money for clubs, money for photo shoots. Oh, my God, we have spent. And I'm thinking, what is this? But do you know what? We are investing in a passion that is his and a goal that is his. I'm very scared. It's an unknown world, and all that comes with the glitz and the glam. There's also the gory side of the world that he's in. But you know what he's told us? You need to trust me that you've raised me well. You need to trust me that there are other role models that I can follow. I do not need to follow this road. I can follow this road. And he will go on and say, Mommy, look at John Boyega. John Boyega, when he introduces his parents, they are pastors like you. They are elders in a church like you. He says, this is Mommy Boyega and this is Daddy Boyega. And that's what we all call them, because that's how he introduced. He was raised in the church. He'll come and he'll tell us, look at Denzel Washington, one of the biggest black actors, but he is in the church. So he says, can you trust me? And then he says, and don't worry if I'm in a movie and I'm kissing a girl. Don't turn away. It's just a role. Don't worry if I'm in a movie and I have to use a swear word. Mom, that's not me. It's just a role I am playing. You've got to trust me. So sometimes we set goals for our children, but they are our goals. Let's try and discover the talents. Let's discover the abilities our children have. Let's support them. Try and learn a little bit more about their world. Do what you're supposed to do. Have a goal for your children, educational goal. Where do you want to see them? What school do you want to see them? If you cannot afford a certain school, what are you going to do to get them to the level of the children attending to that school? Yeah? Are you going to get tutors for them? Are you going to buy books for them? Are you going to sit down and be involved in their work? Like James said, it's about TIME. Spend time with your kids. I had to spend a lot of time with my dad when I was growing up. But you see, he had raised 5 other kids who are not very close to him. I called him Daddy. All the others called him another name. They were raised with. But I spent a lot of time with him because I was the little one and I was his baby girl. So I am different. But the others, they did not enjoy the closeness that I enjoyed with my dad, because when he was raising them, he was just a figure to be seen in the house. He was the head of the house. He was a provider. They would be playing. One would be up on the tree. They would see his car coming. And then he comes down. He say, he's coming. By the time he gets to the gate, they are all sat at the table reading their books. We don't want that. We want it to be natural with our children, you know. In later years, then you'll find these kids find it difficult to spend time communicating. You know, they come, they visit you, they bring you stuff. 1 hour, 2 hours, they are gone. They are more close to their moms because their mom spent time with them. Their mom engaged more with them. So when you engage with your child, it is for now and tomorrow and the future. You see, sometimes they say that grandparents become better parents to their grandchildren. Now, before I get to my grandchildren, let me get it right with my own. Let's learn. I really wish the things that I know now, I knew in my earlier days, that I spent more time reading books, that I spent more time attending workshops on parenting and things like that. I really wish I had invested in that and developed myself, because there is help out there. And today we have the internet. You know, I am 48, so when I was growing up or when I was a young mother, there was not much of that. But now, guys, you have so much information out there. Choose to engage with it. Pick what is right for you and put it into practice. So, goals, let them pursue their passion. Help them, guide them. Yeah.
Wow. And if you're a parent with us, ensure that you reach out also to the Sunday school ministry. We have a section where we have a parent section. You know, there's an app we will recommend you to download, and we will be sending you weekly materials on email. And because we're in the information age, we are going to ensure that that information comes to your house. Yeah, that is very, very important.
Yeah. Yes, there's something.
Oh, yeah.
There's a book I'm reading, and it's the book we're using in our small group, Able Parents, called Raising Kingdom Kids by Tony Evans. And in one of the chapters, he says that meal times were meant to be fellowship times. When you're eating, when you're around that table, you're having your meal, that's the best time to instill some of the values to your children. That's a quiet place, so you're in the time of fellowship, so the words get to sink better when you're having a meal. I remember one time my son David asked me, Daddy, tell me, when it comes to my time to get married, when shall I know what age is best, to marry? And whom shall I marry? And he went ahead and asked me, will I marry my sister? Jewel. Because, he doesn't know anything else. So I told him, no, you don't marry your sister. You don't marry a person from your family. You definitely marry somebody not from your family. So one time we were seated around the table having a meal, and we introduced that topic. And I asked, he was around 7 years when he was asking. Now he's 9. So we introduced that topic and we were sharing. And I asked them, I asked Jewel, who is now 6, when you want to get married, tell me, what kind of a man would you like to get married to? Jewel said, I don't want a drunkard for once, and I don't want a smoker. I don't want somebody to bring me trouble. I want to be married by a Christian brother. And I want somebody who sings.
Hey.
And I want a preacher. I'm also feeling like I want to become a preacher. She said that. I asked David, who is now 9, tell me now, you're 9 years. When you get to a certain age and you want to marry who? He said, Daddy, you should know. I will marry a Christian sister as well. I don't want anybody to give me problems. So when I asked Samuel, who is now 13, he said, Dad, you've heard from the rest. It's just the same thing, Don't need to explain. You've heard it for yourself. And we had a good talk and a good laugh over it. So it's a beautiful time when you're around the table to make sure that you are instilling these these values into your children. I had a song many years ago that says, I wish the time could come back where there used to be a Bible on the table and mothers singing. Okay, fathers reading the Bible, and after the reading, the mothers could sing, Rock of Ages, cleft for me. Let me hide myself in thee. You see, I wish we could get to such times, times of meals and fellowship.
Wow.
Yeah.
Talking on marriage,
Yeah.
we have a son who is at that age. He's ready to get married. I thank God he's in a very steady relationship with a beautiful, lovely, lovely, lovely girl. But sometimes in the past he has gotten it wrong. And I remember one time he was in a relationship that we could see that is not good. But we needed him to make that decision for himself, to understand, is this relationship toxic? Is it healthy? Where is it going to get me? So the dad went and sat down. They went out for a meal, and the dad sat down with him, and they chatted. And the dad asked me, tell me, what kind of a wife would you want to marry? What character? What are you looking for? So he gave the dad, and anyway, they talked about it. And at the end of the day, the young man realized, this relationship is not right for me. So he decided to end it. So when he went and ended it, he went and told the girlfriend then, my dad said, you are not wife material. So the girl contacted me, and so he said my dad, but anyway, he got out of it. So it's important you talk, but let them make their choice and let them make their decision. Unfortunately, one of the greatest fear when you have adult children is that you're always praying and you're fearful. Are they going to meet the right person? Are they going to go into the right career? Are they going to be able to handle themselves once they leave my house? And let's trust God. We've raised them. Let's allow God to work in them. Now, there's another thing. We are in the UK. We are black. That's our race. But we are raising our children in a generation and in a time where they're intermarrying. In Kenya, we do the intermarriage different tribes. And that sometimes can be a problem. Yet you are the same nationality, you are the same race, you can speak English, Swahili, but you have another language, which is your main mother tongue, that may be different. And even with those tribes, there's different cultural differences. And I remember one time we were watching a comedy with my sons, and they were talking about either you marrying a mocha or a latte. A latte is a light coffee, and a mocha is a dark coffee. And they were talking about it. And I turned to my sons and I asked Kamau, so are you a mocha or a latte? And he turned to me and he said, Mom, I'm a mocha all the way. Whether it's a Caribbean mocha, African mocha, South African mocha, I am mocha all the way. And I turned to Jason and I said, are you a mocha or a latte? And he looked at me and he said, a latte. I said, what? What are you talking about? And he said, I blame you. I blame you and Dad. I said, why are you blaming us? The kind of schools you took me to. I don't know how to interact with black girls. I was always around white girls. I said, really? Of course, he was still young by then, But that is something else as parents you need to understand. When your kids are getting married, let them make the choice where you can speak, love on them. Here in the UK, they introduce their girlfriends very early to you. Unlike Jason, who said he will not introduce his girlfriend until it's 9 months. I'm saying, why, Jason? That's not fair. He said, I didn't meet you for 9 months. I was in your belly for 9 months. She can also wait. I mean, kids, the answers they give you, these are the things you get with adult children, the way they think through, So you are not meeting her for 9 months. You will not meet her. I'm not going to introduce her. I said, okay, that's fine. Now, the thing is, allow them to make their choices. Allow them to make mistakes. Talk to them. Guide them. Help them. Even when I was getting married to you, there was a lot of concerns from both families. But we went ahead and got married, and look at us today. So it's scary for parents who are having adults. You don't know where they will end up, but you are talking about goals. You want them to achieve the very best. You want to be outstanding. You want them to be upstanding. You want them to be above only and not beneath, You want them to lead and not to follow. You want the best for them, and we push it. We push it in education, in social matters, in intellectual matters, in society matters. Let's do what we best can do, and let's trust God for their future.
Wow, amazing. Okay, you guys have been quiet. I know time is much spent, but we can't end this without engaging you for a minute or two.
I mean, we're learning so much.
I was about to say that. I think this is our learning session.
We're learning so much because, this conversation is so much mainly about adult children, but maybe something I can contribute is some of the decisions, like James was talking about, how why his children have made the decisions they've made about the people that they want to marry or get married to, depends on their upbringing. So, for example, for me, I was brought up in a home. My father was a pilot, and he traveled a lot. He was hardly at home. And for me, that was because I was very close to him. It affected me in the sense that I decided when I was older now that I would rather have a husband who is present there. So I thank God that I have a husband who is very present.
It was on the bucket list.
Glory.
Someone who stays home.
Not stays home as such, but I really wanted someone who would be present, especially because of the children, because what I felt I missed out growing up, I didn't want our children to miss out on. So that's just one thing I want to say. So we do influence our children in the way that we model our lives. So I guess we need to be mindful of that. The choices they will make are really just based on what they see. We've had that same conversation with our daughter about marriage. She did say, "Oh, am I supposed to marry my brother?" We said, No. She was, I think, a year younger at the time. So this is from a 5-year-old mind. We're like, no, you will marry somebody else, another man, and when you are older, when you've finished school. So we just set the expectation. Mm-hmm. We also, we also model, if they see us kissing on the lips, we say that the reason we're kissing on the lips is because we are husband and wife. Yeah. That is what is expected. So we explain things to them as we grow up, It's just modeling behavior, isn't it?
Yeah. I'm not going to say much that because of time, but I echo everything you guys have said. I do take what Pastor has said about character, about confidence, about empathy. All these come into play because once as they're growing, whatever you talk to them about, whatever you instill in them, is what they become. They move on forward. So by instilling confidence in them, they're able to go wherever they can and know that you don't have to be there for them to do the right thing. And they can also, do things based on, they'll be able to do things based on their own thinking, on knowing they are doing the right thing at the time. Even if they do the wrong thing, and they come maybe and tell you, in their mind, they can still justify it. Your thinking is wrong, but to them it's still right. So it's good to instill that confidence and follow the character as well, because you don't know. As you guys have discovered with Jason, it's something you never knew. With us, we are still there. We are still learning because they're still young. But we see it. With someone like our son, he's only 2 years old, but I can tell you one thing. Jesse is a funny boy. He's so funny. From the day when he was about 1 year, we started saying something. He's a comedian. He is. He'll make you laugh. Even when you're angry, there's a way he will do some things and he'll just make you laugh. So those little things you start seeing in them when they are very young. I think for us, we're just now starting to nurture and see which direction they are going. You got the sister on the other hand who loves reading. She always wants to be fast. So we just have to make sure we keep them balanced. I think even at this young age, so that when they are a bit grown up, it's just a matter of like, okay, there you go. We're here, we're going to watch you, just go on.
I know our directors are showing us like time, so I'm just not looking at Dan at the moment. JS, we can't close out on this parenting. We are older parents. Please, parents, talk to your children. Engage them in all matters. Don't be afraid to discuss politics. Don't be afraid to discuss race. Don't be afraid to discuss religion. They'll come to you and say, why is Christianity better than Islam? Why? Why haven't you allowed me to explore for myself? Why can't I know? You know, they are hard questions. Don't be afraid to engage with them. Talk to them about things that are happening that can affect them. Another thing I beg parents when our children are growing, talk to them about finances. We did not get that. We learned. Thank God we've worked together. We've learned by ourselves. But please teach your children about finances. They'll soon leave their homes and go and live independently. And you don't want adults who are dependent on you. You know, they leave, they come back, they leave, they can't handle themselves, they can't run a home, they can't manage themselves because they are getting it wrong. Let's teach our children. My husband has said it. I am not afraid to broach any subject with our boys. I talk to them about anything and everything, and if I don't know, I don't know. But I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid. A friend of mine once told me that this would sound hard, that the daughter asked her, Mom, were you a virgin when you got married? Now, she's a pastor. She's born again. She felt like as though the earth can swallow her. She said, do you know, I stood there and I did not know how to start answering my daughter, but I had to be honest with her and talk to her about my situation, mistakes I made, and things like that. And these are questions that our kids will throw at us. But they can only ask us those questions if we have conversations. If you don't have conversations, they will learn it elsewhere and they'll talk about it with somewhere else. So please, let's talk. Let's not shy away. Yeah.
Wow. I think there's so much to talk about, yet there's not a lot of time. But the best thing is that we have avenues in our church that are off Facebook and YouTube, that we have weekly, that we have these conversations in. And I believe this will be of great benefit to us. So if you'd like us to channel you to those avenues where we have these conversations, every week from January to December, every week we will be having those conversations. So please inbox us on our Facebook page. Someone will reach out unto you. And remember, it is not about you making the decisions for them. It is about you inspiring how they make those decisions. So thank you so much. I hope and I know you have been transformed. This is High Heights Church, where we love, serve, grow, and make a difference. And this is Marriage Talks, where our marriages are brought to a place of rest. They are restored, they are empowered, they are strengthened, and eventually they are transformed. Thank you and bye-bye.